Reels is more than just using creativity for your brand and building engagement for your Instagram. It's an amazing opportunity to skyrocket your Instagram growth. And so in this video, I'm gonna run through if hashtags are really important, if they're relevant, and if they are, how should you use them and how many should you use and where should you put them? So stick around because I'm gonna spill the tea. Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Morilla. This YouTube channel is for service providers, coaches, and entrepreneurs. If that's right up your alley, then don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every week when I drop these videos. Now, today's video is all about hashtags. How to use hashtags on Reels and if they actually work, what's the strategy behind it, how to find the best hashtag. Now, ultimately, if you have a small business or you're an entrepreneur or you're a coach or whatever, you're using Instagram Reels not only for education, but also for entertainment purposes. But ultimately, it's bringing you a lot of growth, or at least it should be, because we all know that Instagram is definitely pushing Reels right now, and Reels is where you need to be, right? So how can you leverage Reels to grow your audience? Well, it's engaging content mixed with strategic Reels. Okay, so the ultimate question, do hashtags really provide more reach for you to grow your audience? So before we get into it, let's rewind a little bit and let me teach you guys a little bit about Instagram Reels and how to be searchable, how to become searchable. Now, we all know that you have to have quality content, there has to be entertaining, you can utilize it to grow your audience and all that jazz. But ultimately, when you're on the Instagram app and you click in the middle button, this button right here, what is happening is the people that you are being shown, that Instagram is showing you, aren't actually people that you follow. A lot of them are people that Instagram suggests that you might like. Now, pause for a second. Totally not relevant, but kind of relevant. TikTok has the exact same strategy. The reason why TikTok is so good and why they have nailed the algorithm and been able to really find quality content creators is because the algorithm that they've created really pulls your behavior for what you might like. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but if you are on TikTok, a lot of the people that come up on your feed aren't people you actually follow. Yes, there's a mix of people that you follow, but for the most part, it's random strangers, right? So Instagram is trying to do the exact same thing on the app. Now, when you are trying to grow Reels, you want to be searchable there. And you also want to be searchable in the search section, right? The Explorer page, which is this button right here. The only two ways you guys can do that is if, one, you have a massive audience, which is probably rare if you're watching this, or two, you use really good hashtags, and three, there is consistency. We'll dive into consistency at the end of this video, so you wanna make sure you stick around. So while hashtags are really important, at the end of the day, you guys, the most important thing is the quality and the consistency. So let's go back to our original question. Do hashtags really get you more reach on your Reels? The answer is yes. And let me explain to you why. There's a video that I created a few months ago where I talk about using less than 30 hashtags in your Reels. And while I tested it out after months of going back and forth, I tested out small amounts of Reels and then using 30 to 25 hashtags, because ultimately Instagram gives you up to 30 hashtags to post. So after testing it out for a few months and really seeing what's possible, the most important thing I found is which hashtags you actually use. So with that being said, do I think it matters if you use less than 30 hashtags? No. Do I think it matters that if you use less than 20 hashtags? No. Do I think it matters if you use less than 10 hashtags? Yes. Meaning if you're using less than 10 hashtags on your Instagram, you're probably not giving yourself the opportunity to have the algorithm pull your Reels to then get your eyeballs in front of your ideal client or your ideal audience to grow your following. So that brings us to step 2. Jen, how the hell do you find hashtags? And which ones do you actually use? So how do you find the best hashtags for your Reels? Easy. First things first, if you're familiar with TikTok, the hashtags on TikTok are not the same hashtags that you use on Instagram. I'm gonna repeat that again so the people in the back can hear me, y'all. The hashtags you use on TikTok are not the same you use on Instagram. Sorry, it's the name of the game. With that being said, how do you find the best hashtags for your Reels? Well, let's dive in. I'm gonna show you how.
Hey guys, so I'm on my Instagram page here on my desktop. It's a lot easier for you guys to see this, so I figured I'd show you guys here. Ideally, the way you'd want to start looking for hashtags is you want to start looking at your content pillars. So specifically in my case, one of my pillars is Instagram tips, another one is mindset, and if you guys see me looking to the side, I'm looking at my notes, but another one is mindset. And you want to make sure that you're pulling hashtags between 100,000 to 500,000. Anything over 500,000 or in the millions range is too much, and it's going to get really hard for people to see your stuff. So for example, once you've picked your your categories, right? So Instagram tips or social media tips. And then another one that I have is like entrepreneurial and mindset. Let's try picking some subcategories. And so a really good example of a subcategory for Instagram or social media would be like Instagram tips or reels or hashtags, etc., right? And so there's two ways that I typically do this. And let's start here. So let's do Instagram. Can't spell Instagram. Let's do Instagram tips. And you can see that Instagram tips actually has a 1.1 million. That's an abundant amount of hashtags. So we don't want to use that one because that's way too high. But let's say we did Instagram tips and tricks. Let's see what comes up. Okay, we have 238,514. That actually sounds pretty good. So maybe I would totally use that one. Another one that we would use to get super specific, Instagram tips for business. Let's see what comes up there. Oh, this is also really good. You have 164,847. Perfect. Again, you want to make sure you're picking between 100,000 and 500,000, and you're using 25 to 30 hashtags, right, for each post. So for example, let's say another way that I do this is we'll click on this one, for example, and we get all of these amazing hashtags. So typically what I like to do is I like to click on the first one that caught my eye. So let's pick this one. And you can see this one actually did really well. You have about 1,300 people liking it, and look at all these amazing hashtags. I will take a look at one of these hashtags and I will use one of them because it's essentially also just like my business. So let's say this one. What comes up for this one? When I click on that, that's actually a really good one. There you go. You have 364,508 hashtags specifically for social media marketers. So that's a good one. Another really cool tip that I like to do is just start writing something out. So let's do another one. All right, let's do small business. Oops. Small businesses, and let's see what starts populating. So that's a lot, but let's do some of the tips. Okay, you have small business tips, still really tips and tricks. A lot of the times what you'll start to notice, especially on your phone, is when you type the hashtags in the search bar, the Instagram will populate the other hashtags within the search bar that are suggested, and you can see how many hashtags are for that specific one. So right here you see how we have like small business tips. We have, let me do another one, a better one. Let me do Instagram. What did we do before? Instagram tips and tricks. Let's see. Okay, so we had that one. Let's see what else they suggest. You see all these suggestions here. Obviously, these are really low, so you wouldn't pick these. But my point is that when you put them into the search box, usually what happens, especially on your phone, it's not really a good example here, but especially on your phone, is that it'll automatically populate the suggested hashtag that you are looking for. And so then you have a variety of hashtags that you can choose from there as well.
Okay, so last but not least, the most important question, how many hashtags do you need to use on your reels? I'm going to say, based on the evidence and the work that I've put into my Instagram account and the results that I've seen, if Instagram is giving you 30 options to add hashtags, then that means that gives you 30 opportunities to reach 30 different niches. So my recommendation is to choose between 25 to 30 hashtags. You do not need to use all 30 hashtags, but ideally you want to use at least 25. If you're lazy, 20 is fine. I wouldn't go less than 20. That's just my opinion. The other thing I always get asked from you guys is, does it matter if it's in the captions or in the comments? It does. Put it in the description, meaning the caption where you write your story, where you write whatever it is that you're going to say about the reel. Make sure you add the hashtags underneath. If for some reason you've written so much and you don't have enough space, it's totally cool, put it in the comments. Does it really hurt the algorithm if you put it in the comments? No. But if you do it often, yes, because it seems spammy. So just remember that. Okay, just one more last tip, because if you stayed until the end of this video, thank you so much. I hope you gave me a thumbs up because you enjoyed this. As I mentioned earlier, the most important thing is consistency. You guys, you can utilize Reels, but if there's no consistent strategy behind it, then it's just kind of a flop. But that also means that it's not just utilizing Reels, it's also utilizing stories, it's posting, it's creating valuable content and quality content. If you follow me, then you know I'm not about quantity, I'm more about the quality. Meaning I would rather give out quality information than just mass production just because I want to create content to create content. Like, that's not the way it works. At least for me, but everybody's different, so no judgment here. However, everybody knows that in order for you to grow on any social media platform, the most important thing is that you build consistency. So my recommendation is that you do not create one reel and then post another 2 weeks later with another reel. My recommendation is that you create several reels and you post at least 3 to 4 times a week if you are really, really adamant about seeing results and reaching the goals of growing your audience. All right, you guys, so there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you gave me a thumbs up, and I can't wait to see you next time, but I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.